According to a LinkedIn research, 92% of recruiters say soft skills are just as important, if not more important, than hard skills. Truth be told, in tech, your resume may get you the job, but what determines how far you go are the soft skills that back the hard skills. In Tech Mentorship series today, I want to show you 7 core soft skills that can accelerate your tech career growth. I remember the day, the first job I ever got in as a tech professional in 2008. We were over 5 that came for the interview. And all of us, the interview was largely, it was more of practical. There was no oral interview. It was purely practical. We want to see what you can do and all of that. And many of us that came for the interview, we had the skills because we all had the technical skills. What's the technical skill required? How fast can you type? Because then I applied to be a computer operator. So what we do generally is just to assist those that need to carry out business center operations and all of that. So we were over 5 that came for that interview. But guess what? All of us have the necessary technical skills of typing. But how did I get the job? I got the job not because I can type. I got the job not because I was fast. I got the job because I was patient. Patience was the technical skill that I used to get that job. So if you think having the programming language, having to know how to develop applications, having to know how to build websites, mobile application developer, having to acquire all those skills of cybersecurity skills, ethical hacking skills, help desk support skills. If you think that is the only thing that you need to succeed in tech, you would be marveled, because beyond all these technical skills, you still need the soft skills. So in today's session, I want to just give you 7 of those soft skills. And let's start with the first of it being practicability. Now, what is practicability? Practicability is applied knowledge in simple and plain language. The ability for you to learn something and apply that which you have learned without issues. Not everybody have this skill, because I know of someone who has been learning fashion design in a fashion school for almost 16 years. And to date, he has not been able to master the act of, or the art of fashion designing, or the art of sewing clothes or designing clothes. Meanwhile, he has been doing this thing for 16 years. And the problem was not the problem is not, or was not the academy that he is learning, or this fashion school is learning from, because a whole lot of persons have graduated from that fashion school and they are doing well in their field. So what is stopping him from acquiring the skill? Because he lacks practicability. Practicability skills, for many of us, we go to school to learn the technical skills. For many of us, we go to school to learn knowledge. We learn different knowledge in tech, whether it is the knowledge of how to support someone when there is need, or help their support, the network engineering skills and all of that. Some of this knowledge are not, we can't apply them. We go to schools where we are being taught theory. There is no way we can practicalize that which we've been taught. And because there's no way we can practicalize that which we've been taught, it's as though that we didn't even learn anything. There are many schools that what they teach is theory. So you go and you come out without even having to see a computer system. And now the day you decide to see a computer, or the day you are fortunate to see a computer system, it becomes a challenge for you. So practicability skills is the ability for you to acquire a skill and you can use that skill. In fact, practicability skills is the foundational skill for anyone to succeed in tech, because tech is a practical field, is an applied field. It's a field you want to go and apply that which you've learned. So you go and you learn Excel, for example. You don't just learn Excel on paper, you learn Excel on system, and that system, that skill needs to be applied. So for you to be in core tech, whether it is software development domain, whether it is innovation domain, whether it is security domain or management, whatsoever domain you want to find, you find yourself in tech, you need practicability skill. So practicability skill is the consistent use of knowledge to reproduce, recreate, or create an entity to the point that you become master of it. Because truth to be told, when it has to do with practicability, there are levels to it. There are levels to practicability skills. So when you're learning something, the first thing you want to do is you are practicing that thing. When you are applying your practicabilities, you are practicing for the purpose of knowledge. So I go to a computer school now, and I want to be taught how to use PowerPoint. I want to be taught how to use Excel. I want to be taught how to use Figma. I want to be taught how to program with Python. I want to be taught how to program with Java. So the first thing I want to do in the course of knowledge, I will be practicing for the purpose of what? Of knowing. That is the first level to practicability skill. The second level is you engaging your practice for the purpose of use. This is when you begin to use. You're not just now. You've been able to acquire the skill. You are now very knowledgeable about the particular tool or the particular programming language. The next phase is for you to what? To use it. Now you are using it to be able to do things. You are applying that which you know, which is the actual definition of practicability. The third level is practice for mastery. Because the truth of you need to understand that if you don't practice, it's a skill. If you don't practice, you would not master. The only route to mastery is consistency, consistent use, consistent practice. So you have learned a particular tool, you have to continue using it, continue learning it, continue using it till when you become a master of that tool. You want to learn a particular programming language. The first phase is for you to learn it. The second phase is for you to use it. The third phase is for you to master it. If you don't learn it, you can't use it. If you don't use it, you can't master it. That is the skill of practicability. Practicability, applying the knowledge that you have acquired. It's a soft skill. This does not, it doesn't matter. You can apply it in any, whether it is security you're trying to learn, it is ethical hacking tools you're trying to learn, it is programming languages you're trying to learn, whatsoever skill, hard skills, technical skill you're trying to learn, you need practicability. That is the first skill that is needed for you to succeed in tech. The second skill that is needed for you to succeed in tech is the skill of critical thinking and problem solving. So, critical thinking skill is the ability for you to use knowledge, to think deeply. Now, critical thinking is the act of thinking deeply. So, most critical thinkers are usually very they are questionnaires. They don't take things at surface value. So you meet a critical thinker now, and you said, "Hey, just imagine if I tell you that, okay, I'm shooting this production in the sky also, or I'm shooting this production in the moon." A critical thinker would begin to query the possibility of that, because they don't take things at surface value. They want to query, they want to ask, they want to evaluate, they just want to ensure that, okay, they are very, very logical. So have you find yourself in a situation whereby there's usually that one guy or one lady, one girl in your office that is always always want to know, wants to ask, needs to be clarified on certain issues? Well, that person has the potential of having that, or that person has the critical thinking skills. Because critical thinkers don't take surface value for the way it is. They are always there to query. They want to query. They want to know. And the reason why it is called critical thinking is because when you think deeply, the outcome of that which you have thought or the things you're thinking is that it's supposed to solve a problem. So it is called critical thinking and problem solving skills. Now, critical thinking is broad to the extent that under critical thinking, we have two other soft skills. So the first soft skill that we have under critical thinking is the analytical skills, because for you to be able to analyze, you have to be a thinker. Then the second skill that we have under the critical thinking skills is the creativity skills. For you to be able to create, you have to think. So what then is critical thinking as it applies to analytical skills and creative thinking skills? So problems, let's even define problems. What are problems? Because we say it's critical thinking. The outcome of every critical thinking skill is that they are able to solve problems. So what are problems? Problems are anything that can cause or has the potency to cause a negative outcome. So anything at all that has caused, that means the problem has been established, or the problem can't be established because it will cause. That's problem. So what's now the essence of problem solving? Problem solving is to now use analytical skills to solve something, to solve a problem that has been identified using patterns, or you use the creative thinking skills to solve a problem that will be problem. So now let me put it into perspective. You work in help desk, for example, and someone calls you and said, my system is bad. If you get there, the first thing you want to do is to analyze. You want to analyze the problem. A problem has already been established. So, and if a problem has been established, and the possibility for that problem to be known, because there is a schematics that makes that problem that makes the outcome to be negative. That problem as it is a negative outcome. Problems generally are negative outcomes. So that problem as it is a negative outcome. There is a pattern. There was something the user did that made that problem happen. So what your role would be now is to use is to analyze by looking for patterns, juxtaposing it with what should be happening, and comparing with what is not happening, for you to be able to find the actual cause of that problem. Now, for analytical skills, once you have been able to find the cause of the problem, you have solved the problem. But that's not the case for creative skill, because for creative skills, most at times the problem is a novel problem, is a new problem. It has never been solved. So you can't begin to look for patterns that you want to use to solve it because it has never been solved. So in this case, you want to now begin to think creatively. So most of the persons that function under, and because, like, for example, cybersecurity, generally, majority of the roles in cybersecurity, they are analytical roles. Majority of the roles in cybersecurity are analytical roles. Whether it is the SOC analyst, whether it is the ethical hacker, the pen tester, ethical hacker, the GRC, majority of the role, the IT security analyst, IT security specialist, majority of the roles in cybersecurity are the analyst roles. So if you want to go into cybersecurity, it is very, very important that you are an analyst, or you possess critical thinking and problem solving skills for the purpose of carrying out analysis and using that analysis to be able to identify problems. Because there are usually patterns, there are formats that you follow. If the only aspect of cybersecurity that is usually novel is those that research for vulnerabilities, because it's not something that has been known. It's not known. The vulnerability is not known. So intentionally they are querying systems to search for those vulnerabilities. So we have critical thinking and problem solving skills produces what? They produce analytical skills and they produce creative skills. As a software developer, you need critical thinking and problem solving skills majorly for the purpose of solving problems. Majorly for the purpose of solving problems. How about those that are doing what's it called? Debugging. Now, this is where your analytical skills comes to play as a software developer. As a software developer, if all you have is you have the practicability skills, so you'll be able to learn the programming language, so you are applying the programming language. The next thing now is that you've been able to develop an application, which means you have carried out your critical thinking skills for the purpose of what? To create something. Now, the thing you created did not work because there's a bug. What you need to solve bugs are not you don't need creativity to solve bugs. What you need to solve bugs is analysis. You need to now analyze the codes that you have created just for the purpose of ensuring that, I've been able to analyze this code. What is not working? What is supposed to be working that is not working? Using patterns to find the problem. And once you've been able to identify the patterns, you solve the problems. Critical thinking and problem solving skills. But now there is the creative skill is way beyond just you being able to think, because I'm going to dwell more on the creative skills. We've talked about practicability skills. We've talked about the critical thinking and problem solving skills. Under which we talked about the the analytical skills, and now we talked about the analytical and briefly about creative skills. Now I want to expand the creative skills to creative intelligence, which is the fourth skill that is needed for you to succeed in tech. Now, creative intelligence is the ability that birth, generates, or develop original or novel ideas and solutions. In most cases, innovators falls under this space. Founders are largely critical thinkers. Founders of tech companies, techpreneurs, and all of that. All these founders, generally, majority of the founders are critical thinkers. Now, for innovators in most cases are always those persons or those group of founders that innovate and bet something novel, something new, something that has never existed before. For example, the development of Bitcoin, the development of the blockchain technology. Blockchain technology is a combination of different resources, different applied field to form a novel field that it is now becoming a specialization. It's not just becoming a specialization, it's growing to the extent that it may soon become a domain. The concept of distributed ledger. Creativity in this case would help you birth things. Creativity in this case would help you will think. It's a place of, okay, now let me quickly give you a clear distinction about critical thinkers. What differentiates critical thinkers from creative thinkers? Critical thinkers, they think deeply. So when you tell them about a field, they think deeply about that. You say a critical thinker in software development wants to think specifically about that programming language that is as a software developer that you know. But a creative thinker, on the other hand, they don't just think deeply, they also think broadly. That's why the outcome of creative thinking, the outcome that creative thinking produces are largely two. The first outcome that creative thinking produces is what's known as innovation. Innovation is a direct output of creative thinking. The second outcome of creative thinking is called art. So this is creative thinking or creative intelligence is also the field that graphic designers fall under. Graphic designers, all those that design graphics, motions, and all of that, they all fall under creative thinkers because they don't just a dot means something. That's to tell you how deep they think. But as simple as that dot, they can use that dot to replicate something massive and beautiful. Why? Because they think broadly. So a creative thinker would see something like this, would see a laptop, and a critical thinker will see a phone and will just think what the phone can do based on what it has been designed to do. But a creative thinker will see a phone and would look at what the phone can produce when mixed or merged with something else. So that's how broad creative thinkers think. Critical thinkers think deep, creative thinkers think broadly. So that's the fourth soft skill that is needed for you to succeed in tech. Now let's go to the fifth. And the fifth is communication skills. What is communication skills? Communication skills is the inherent ability to conceive, structure, or convey ideas, mindsets, and concepts coherently to another person, either in verbal or non-verbal form. So I'm going to break this down. The first thing is that it is an ability to conceive. That means you have to, whatsoever thing you want to give out, you have to conceive it. Communication skills starts from conception. There are forms of communication which we'll be getting to, but for now, communication skills starts from what? Conception. And conception in this case would mean that it came to you in form of knowledge. So you have conceived it. So now it is an idea you want to pass because you have been able to create the idea, generate the idea. You want to pass that idea. In the course of betting that idea within that comes from within, you have conceived the idea. So, but it's not just all about conception. Once you have conceived an idea, the next thing is that you want to structure how that idea or how that mindset or that concept would now be passed to the next person, because communication does not happen with one person. Communication happens between two or more persons. So the receiver you as the one transferring or initiating the communication, you have to first design, you have to structure it in such a way that the person you are sending that idea to will be able to understand. So it starts by conception, then structuring. Then the third thing is after structuring is what? Is now conveying the ideas. How do you now send it? You start by conceptualizing it. After conceptualizing it, you want to move further to structuring it. After structuring it, you want to move further to what? To sending it, which is conveying the ideas. So there are four major forms of communication. Communication starts majorly verbal communications. So for verbal communications, these are communications that are conveyed via words. So you can convey verbal communications either by writing, and writing is a concept. It's a concept of transferring idea through a medium. So you're transferring an idea through what? Through a medium. So you put in, it's either writing or typing. These days, many people don't write, but yeah, you can type, but it's a medium in which you're using to communicate the idea. or you're communicating an idea through reading. Reading would mean that there is already a medium that has the idea, so you are transferring it by reading it aloud to others. Then the third form of communication is by speaking. Speaking is a direct definition or concept of communication that has to do with speaking. You are conceiving an idea, and as you are conceiving it, you are structuring it, and at the same time, you are conveying it via words. And the fourth form of communication is listening. In this case, you are both for writing, both for reading and speaking. There's always the person at the other end of that channel that is the recipient. So, as the listener, you are not just listening. There is an act to listen because you want to listen to understand. You don't just want to listen based on for the purpose of hearing, but listening for the purpose of what? Of understanding. So these are the four major forms or components of communication. So for you to say you have communication skills, it means that you have a way of conceiving ideas. You have a way of structuring the ideas in such a way that you can easily convey that idea for others to understand. That skill is very powerful, very important. Because in boardrooms, as you progress in your tech career, you will get to the stage whereby you no longer, communication skills will not be, it will be more important than even the technical skills that you have. Can you imagine if the CEO of Microsoft now still codes? Or do you think that the CEO of Apple still does coding? As you progress in tech, you will get to a stage whereby you won't be able to, your technical skills would be just needed for the purpose of verification and evaluation. Not for you, it won't be needed for you to begin to code or program or carry out technical tasks. Because at that point, you have progressed the ladder of tech leadership that you would now need communication, how to convince people, how to sell, how to present reports. That's what you need communication skills for. There are reports to present in tech, a whole lot of reports that you have to present. So don't think that because you are a software developer, you have to convince the manager, the CEO on the specific structure, why you're going for this structure, the concept of this design, why you're going for this design. Whether you are a front-end developer, a back-end developer, you have to convince, and you convince via words. So don't think that because you understand software development, you understand front-end development, it means that's all there is to tech. No, you still need communication skills because there are times whereby you need to convince the board on your idea. Well, that's the fifth. Now let's go to the sixth. The sixth aspect of this, the sixth soft skill you would need for you to succeed in tech is leadership. Oh, yes, you need leadership skills. Leadership skills. Now, leadership, this definition of leadership is from this definition of leadership. I got it from Apostle Joshua Selman. He gave a very concise definition of leadership as the inherent ability to harness human or material resources for the purpose of achieving a specific goal. So it starts from what leadership is not only about you leading people. In tech, you lead infrastructures also. There is infrastructure management. You have to manage when to use a server, when not to use a server, how to manage a server, how to optimize servers. These are all infrastructure management, and that's an act of leadership. Harnessing materials, human resources, which are people, and material resources, which can be your infrastructures, your servers, your desktops, harnessing them for the purpose of what? Of achieving a specific goal. As a cybersecurity professional, There is the place where you need to harness, let's say you're a SOC manager, for example. A SOC manager would need to be able to manage the SOC, Security Operations Center. A SOC manager will also need to be able to manage the level 1, level 2, level 3 SOC analysts, which are people. So for you to be able to meet up the responsibility that comes with you being a SOC manager, you are expected to possess leadership skills. So beyond you being an analyst and being able to find identify what's it called, incidents and events, security incidents and events, you are also expected to possess leadership skills. And the reason why you are expected to possess leadership skills is because there are resources to manage, there are people to manage. As you progress the ladder of the ladder of leadership, let me tell you how you know that you are growing in tech. It usually starts with you having to be a technical genius. You are the best programmer. You are the best developer. When it has to do with the hands-on, they give you can code it, you can develop the application with or without supervision, because you are skilled and you have mastered the art of programming language. But now there comes a time whereby you would need to now collaborate. And when you need to collaborate, in the place of collaboration, because you are the best programmer, the tendency for you to be given the role of the team lead would now be there. Leadership have started. So at that point, you are not only a technical person, you are now also a leader, because there is the technical angle to development. Then there is the leadership angle, because you are working with as a team lead. You have a front end developer under you. You have what's it called? Customer analyst under you. You have back-end developers under you. You have database designers under you. You have security architects under you. All of them, and it is now your responsibility to harness them together, merge them together, bring their resources and their potency together for you to be able to achieve that result. So it's not just only you now that used to be. You now have to manage all these humans together and their technical skills together for you to be able to achieve that result. That can only be done if you are a leader. So don't think that because you are the best in a particular programming language or in a particular tech skill, that would not mean that you don't need leadership skill. You have to get it. Because now it will now get to a stage. That is even the second level, because the first level is that it's all about tech. You are the one doing this, you are the one doing the technical angle, because you are more of like a junior staff entry level. But as you progress, you become a team lead, you become a manager, you become a software engineer and all of that, where you are managing people and you're also managing technology. Now, the third level of leadership growth in tech is when you now get to the stage whereby you are no longer, nothing concerns you with technology. Your pure responsibility would be people. So as you progress in tech, you'll find out that eventually you would have to leave the core tech for the purpose of managing people. So how do you manage people if you have not acquired leadership skills? Tech leadership usually starts from tech skills, but usually, in most cases, it will end in soft skills, because more tech professionals are coming. So you have to grow. You can't say that you have 35 years experience as a programmer and you are still doing programming. That means you are not growing. You have to grow. You grow into you grow into the space whereby you are now managing people and technology. Then you grow out of that place into a space whereby you are managing only people. That's how you grow. That's how you measure your growth in tech. And that's the sixth skill in tech. And the last skill, soft skill, you need in tech for you to be able to ascertain your career growth is networking skills. So for networking skills, uh, tech is quite a unique field, and truth be told, you need to be able to learn communicate, how to communicate with people. You need to learn how to lead people, but more importantly, you also need to learn how to connect with people. So, what's networking skills? Networking skills is the ability for you to identify, establish, maintain, and leverage on relationship with people for growth. That growth can be personal or professional growth. For many of you, hey, you come with me, Hanniel, please, can you be my mentor? I want you to be my mentor. I want you to be my mentor and all of that. And I don't know you from Jack, and all of a sudden you want me to mentor you. It doesn't work out that way. You build relationship. Relationship is what brings about mentorship. Mentorship is actually an aspect or a concept of relationship. It is born from a place of relationship. So you don't just meet any other person and say that you want the person to mentor you. There are systems to which you network with the person, show the person your potency, but then you now tell the person what you intend to do. The person will look at those possibilities and say, okay, yeah, it's something I can do. I've had a lot of persons come and say, Hanniel, please, can you mentor me? I want you to be my mentor. I want you to be my mentor. For some, I said, yes, good, is good. I can't be a mentor because there's already an established relationship. I know where you are. I know what you've done. I know your level of perseverance. I know your level of patience. That I know because of relationship. Not as though that they are family members or they are, no. But we met someplace and they shared their ideas. You build relationship. So you need to first start by what? Identifying. But you don't just identify and go straight to the point because it doesn't work out that way. After identifying, you want to establish a relationship. Establish a relationship. After establishing a relationship, then you want to maintain it. That relationship needs to be maintained. It needs to what? It needs to be maintained. There is an act of maintaining relationship. There are people you go to conferences and you meet people and you collect their phone number, and that's the last time you ever communicate with them. No, you're not doing well. When you go for conferences, you go for events, and the event, as you've been fortunate enough to meet someone that you so admire in an event. What you need to do is to what? Is to establish a relationship. After establishing a relationship, then you maintain it. You maintain it. You are the one that needs something from the person. The person doesn't need a whole lot from you. You gain more from the relationship. So you that you know that the relationship is important to you, you are expected to what? You are expected to maintain it. So how do you maintain it? Constant communication. Telling the person your progress, what you're doing. I'm developing this application. These are the challenges I encountered. And tell the person. The person is qualified to be a mentor. You are looking at the person being a mentor. You share your ideas with the person. That's how you maintain. It is when it is a maintained relationship that you can leverage. Because if a relationship has not been maintained, you can't just wake up after 1 year you've not spoken to somebody you intend to use that you've not spoken after 1 year you've not spoken to somebody whom you have established a relationship with a year ago, no communication, and all of a sudden you're just coming up from nowhere and say that the person should come and recommend you for a job or be a reference, a referral for you on a job. It doesn't work out that way because the relationship has not been maintained. Maintain relationship. After a relationship has been potential relationship has been identified, the next thing you want to do is to what? Establish the relationship. After it has been established, maintain. It is only maintained relationship that you can leverage on, and leverage is an advantage. Leverage is an advantage. I know a lot of persons and a lot of training jobs that I've gotten as a result of leverage. Hey, Hanniel, HTC Academy, please can you deliver this training? Yes, we can. Oh, okay, okay. We have a lot of persons that are bidding for it, but if you can just give me your bid like this, give me your bid like this, and I think if you can give me a price that is lower than budget, we can give it to you. Wow, that's the leverage relationship. That's a relationship that was identified, established, maintained, and is now being leveraged upon. Where do you meet? Where do you meet your network? Most at times, you meet your network in your workplace. However, the major places where you meet you build your network are events, workshops, seminars, conferences, DEFCON, uh, uh, tech symposium. Yeah, I also convene. I also convene Tech Symposium Africa. It's a yearly event that holds in Abuja every year, bringing tech professionals all around Africa for the purpose of us talking what's happening within the tech space in Africa. Do you really think it's for the purpose of network? People come there. One of the benefits of going to events is so that you build more contacts. But sadly, we build more contacts, but we don't establish. We think just having the number is what makes you to be in a relationship or to have an established relationship with somebody. No. So there are three categories of persons you meet in events. The first category of persons you meet in events are tech enthusiasts. Those who are just coming into the field, they really don't know what they are coming to build relationship and all of that. The next category of persons you meet in events are tech professionals. Those are usually middle, let's say 3, 4, 5 years experience and all of that. They are there for the purpose of knowledge. Tech enthusiasts majorly are not there for knowledge; they are there for relationship. Tech professionals are there for the purpose of knowledge because they are still growing. The next category of persons you meet are tech experts. Those that have been established. In most cases, they are the ones that they call for as speaking roles and all of that. I've been to events speaking globally, and it marvels me uh, how we look at events in this part of the world, especially in Africa. It is we need to begin to look at how the possibility of capitalizing on events for the purpose of building our network and growing our network. So anyway, so also in events you meet mentors, you meet founders, you meet entrepreneurs. These kind of persons, you can't meet them. The events are the only places you would want to see this kind of persons. You can't, for some of us, you can't even go to their offices because you will not gain you won't be given access to their offices. Now they are at events where you can easily meet them, approach them, discuss with them, share ideas with them. You decide not to go for events. You need to learn networking skills. Learn networking skills. So just to recap, 7 core skills needed for you to be in tech. Number 1, practicability needed for you to grow in tech. 7 core skills needed for you to grow in tech. Number 1, practicability skills, ability for you to apply knowledge. Number 2, critical thinking and problem solving skills, ability for you to think deeply and for the purpose of analyzing problems or creating solutions to problems. Number 3, analytical skills, which is an act of thinking, identifying patterns and finding finding solutions to problems. Number 4, creative intelligence, which is an act to create, an art to discover, create, and develop novel solutions. The Number 5, communication skills. They ask for you to what? To conceive ideas, the ability for you to conceive ideas, the ability for you to structure the idea, and for the ability for you to communicate the idea in a clear and structured way for others to understand. Number 6, leadership skills, which is the ask for you to ability for you to harness human and material resources for the purpose of achieving a specific goal. Number 7, networking, which is the art for you to identify, the ability for you to identify, the ability for you to establish, the ability for you to maintain and leverage on relationship for the purpose of professional and career growth. That is all we have for you today. The 7 core skills that can make you become master in tech and become a tech leader. So that's what we have. I want to appreciate us and see you. Let us use these skills. Let's ensure that we embed these skills. Let us not just learn the tech skills and forget the soft skills, because the soft skills, like I said, powers the tech skills. Thank you, and see you next week when we'll be talking on another topic. My name is Hanniel H. Jafaru, and I am the Tech Mentor.